My best friend and I switched lives for a week, but now she doesn't want to switch back. Sophia and I go way back. We were friends as kids and continue to be to this day. We were the type of friends that knew everything about each other, and I mean everything, including the good, bad, and downright embarrassing. We've cried over breakups, cheered for one another's achievements, and even shared clothes and secrets. In spite of all this, it was clear over the years we were on different life journeys. Sophia has always been more carefree and chaotic than me. I worked as a project manager for a tech company and lived in a slightly boring, but stable, life. I had a decent apartment, a steady boyfriend named Ryan, and everything was planned out for me. My life was pretty predictable. Sophia, on the other hand, an artist, didn't have the luxury of being predictable. She constantly changed jobs, dated a series of equally chaotic men, and lived in a tiny, messy studio. One evening, after a few glasses of wine at dinner, Sophia brought up how different our lives are, and it slightly buckled my knees. Every now and then, I ask myself what it would be like to live your life, Sophia said as she stared into her wine glass. Having a steady job, a good apartment, and a dependable boyfriend. I let out a laugh, and I asked myself, imagining the kind of freedom you have, I said. No deadlines to meet, no scheduled things to do, just existing. Comically, we both laughed, but then Sophia's expression became mischievous as she had an idea. What if we swapped lives for a week? She exclaimed. Staring at her, I could not tell if she was joking. You mean actually swap? You live my life, and I live yours. Exactly, she exclaimed. I will work your job, hang out with Ryan, and you can stay at my apartment, do whatever you want, and live like an artist for a week. Insane as it sounded, the idea was appealing. And what about work? I asked. You don't understand what exactly I do. Sophia waved her hand dismissively. I will figure it out. How hard can it be? You can have a week off to experience the chaos of my life. The more we talked about it, the more fun it sounded. It was easy to agree to, almost too easy. We could set rules to make sure things didn't spiral out of control, though, after all, it was just for a week, a chance to walk in each other's shoes and see the world from a different perspective. We didn't imagine how much everything would change. The transition commenced on the right foot. On that Monday, I woke up at Sophia's studio apartment, a mess strewn with her art supplies, from unfinished canvases to paintbrushes and art pieces. The day felt warmer, unique in the sense that my routine was not organized, which was pretty unfamiliar to me. The feeling was refreshing. I took to painting first, then went to visit several galleries and cafes. I had not picked a brush since college. For the first time in years, I felt light. 0 emails waiting for me to respond, 0 meetings scheduled, simply me living my life. In a normal setting, I would not flirt with the attractive barista, but here, I could do anything. In the meantime, Sophia had taken over for me. She kept sending texts updating me, and whenever she would tell me, Ryan is a sweetheart, I found myself astonished at her positivity. I believed that the swap could only be a pleasurable adventure. 3 days into the swap, I began to see signs of concern. When I reached out to Ryan, he sounded awkward and distant. Feeling a little concerned by his tone, I tried to ease his discomfort. Is everything okay? I asked. I mean, everything is all right, he said, but I feel like he was keeping something back. It's just, you appear different from the usual. Different how? I pressed further. He seemed unsure. I'm not too sure. You're just less intense, which is nice, but also a bit off. I laughed, telling myself Sophia was only pretending to be me for a week. But as days passed, the situation changed. Sophia had become unresponsive to my messages, and when I tried calling her, she wasn't picking up. This made me anxious. It was supposed to be a temporary phase. A game. What's happening? If you are not subscribed to our channel, you might be missing a lot. But if you are, big, congratulations. You will always have the most intriguing stories at your fingertips to watch and listen to at any time that suits you. On Friday, I decided to meet her. I went to my apartment, the one that I had leased to Sophia. I knocked on the door, and my heart began racing. After a few moments he opened, and to my shock, it was Sophia looking back. She wore one of my dresses and had my hair in a way I typically styled it. For a split second, it felt like I was staring at a different person wearing my body. What is happening, Sophia? I mean, what the hell is going on? I asked. I was mad at her for not showing up to my calls. Why didn't you call me back? She was staring at me with no expressions or emotions. I hate talking on calls. She let out a weak laugh. Actually, I hate a lot of things, but this woman I recently met proudly presents herself. I hate answering calls. My head was getting flooded with so many thoughts and phrases. My heart was beating like crazy. What do you mean? This was supposed to last a week. I know, but why should it stop? She said while gesturing me to step inside her apartment. You tell me, this life you enjoy, this world that is everything I wanted, lacks stability, it lacks security. Someone who loves me, but can never be with me, and then there's you. My blood turned cold. I mean, someone who loves you, Like Sophia said, we'll never be able to show up and freeze blood for sure. Sophia, what you're saying is insane. You can't just take control over my life. Why can't I? She gave me a glance filled with annoyance while folding her arms and leaning to the wall. I have done all your work for an entire week, and guess what? I did great. Ryan didn't notice anything even though he did have some suspicions about your sudden disappearance. He is so much happier with me than ever with you. My heart sank. Sophia, this is insane. Give me my life back. Everything around me was turning crazy as I kept screaming the same phrase. Give me my life back. No, I don't think I will. Sophia retorted as she expressed denying intentions. You wanted freedom, didn't you? Now you can go live my life, the one without any ties or strings. Isn't that what you said you wanted? The anger and fear welled up. This is my life, Sophia. You don't get to decide. She looked at me as if she was trying to pity me somehow. Not anymore. As I realized that identity theft was way more serious than friends jokingly pulling pranks on one another, I couldn't help but leave my hometown in utter disbelief. My boyfriend would have some questions to answer, because why was it blocked so effortlessly? How does one fight against someone who possesses all of the cards to your life, so much so that they can slip into any relationship that you're so comfortable in? Now that I was thinking about it, my identity was almost hijacked. Frantically looking for some firm solution, I found my way back to Sophia's apartment. I started pondering whether it had even been cleaned up after I last left. My phone looked daggy, but then, why would my coworkers feel comfortable talking down to me just saying they were missing meetings? It's painfully obvious now, but Sophia was lying to me because she had not been performing so well at my company like she promised she would. I made up my mind and called Ryan. Hearing his voice and telling him everything, even if it seemed outrageous, was something I needed to do. The first thing I noticed when he picked the call was that his voice was a bit tense. Sophia, what is it? He asked. Him calling me Sophia was like being slapped in the face. I was not ready for that. Ryan, it's me, Natalie, I urgently replied. You need to listen to me. He was silent for some time. What are you talking about? Natalie is here with me, he said. Now, I responded, desperately, that's not Natalie. She's pretending to be me. We swapped lies for a week and right now she doesn't want to switch back. On the other side of the call, I heard him sigh. Is this some kind of joke? Because it's not funny. Yes, I am trying to, Ryan replied. You know who I am, right? Sophia is manipulating you. He was quiet for but some time. Then prove it. Prove you're who you say you are. I tried to think of something only the real Natalie would know. Remember our first date, we both went this Italian restaurant. I asked, do you recall me spilling wine all over my dress? You offered me your jacket to cover it up, even though it was the middle of summer. He went quiet once again, and for a moment, I thought I had broken through to him. But then he spoke. This time his voice sounded defeated. Sophia told me you'd say something like this. She said you would try to show up and befuddle me in one way, which is why I was a bit cautious. My heart sank. She got to him first and manipulated him, so he doubts his own reality. Ryan, please. No, he cut me off. I don't know what game you're playing, but I'm done with all of this. Do not call me again. The line cut off. I kept my gaze on my phone, feeling enraged as disbelief coursed through me. Sophia had stolen my life, and she made Ryan believe that I am the imposter. I spent the next few days trying to make sense of it all. I contacted my work inquiring if there had been any updates regarding my position, only for them to assure me that everything was okay. Sophia had already reached out to them, supposedly on my behalf, and informed them I was taking some time off work. While they promised my position was secure, without any proof of identity, I wouldn't be able to return. When trying to reach my family, they seemed puzzled and skeptical as well. It was like a nightmare, where everything I knew had turned upside down. Then it dawned on me. Stuffing someone's petticoat might not be so quite as clever, but if Sophia was dead set on living like me, she would have to deal with work too. I will allow her to play pretend for a bit until I gather enough evidence to document how she is failing at being me. There has to be some cracks in the skin if she was as unprepared for my job as I suspected her to be. I spoke to my colleagues and without giving away too much asking what Sophia had been doing pretending to work under my name. After interviewing, I asked about work done, timelines, and interactions with the clients. I received the answers which further confirmed my suspicions, but on the flip side were painful to witness in regard to Sophia. She was messing up. She was missing deadlines, ignoring clients, and making completely out of character decisions for me. After carefully placing everything together, I constructed a detailed file of how Sophia was not doing her job. I then explained the situation to my supervisor as calmly as I could. It sounded insane, and I knew it, but I showed them the evidence, the discrepancies in work quality, the emails Sophia had sent that didn't match my writing style. My supervisor regarded me with some interest, but mostly he seemed bewildered. This is high unusual, he acknowledged. Although I must say it's been highly odd ever since you came back to the office. Fortunately, thanks to my supervisor, I managed to book a meeting with the HR and the legal department. I explained the whole situation, the switch, and the evidence which showed Sophia was not who she professed to be. They agreed to start an internal investigation, of course. They were still a bit doubtful. After all, who would believe two adult people simply switched lives like a movie? The most important moment came when they requested both of us come in for a personal meeting. I understood that this strange person was probably my only opportunity to tackle Sophia face to face and demand the truth to come out. When we were both in the room, Sophia looked calm and collected. It was astonishing how much she embodied every aspect of me, my voice, my mannerisms, and everything else. It was creepy how convincingly she played the role of me. "I don't know why she is doing this," Sophia said in a mock-concerned voice. "Maybe she is having some sort of a breakdown. But I'm the real Natalie." A fresh wave of rage coursed through my veins, but I made a conscious decision to remain in control. "Sophia," I replied slowly, "you may have convinced everyone else, but you can't keep this up forever. You're not me. You're not equipped for my life, my job, or my responsibilities. You are already crumbling. You think you're so perfect," she said with a menacing sharp tone. "You think you deserve this life more than I do? I have done more in this week than you did in your entire boring life. You can't pretend to be someone you are not." I shot back. "You have already made mistakes, and they are catching up with you." The HR manager stepped in at this point and said that everyone should take a breather. But then something happened that none of us expected. Ryan walked in. He had been listening just outside the door while watching both of us with an unreadable expression. "Ryan," as he spoke, his gaze shifted from Sophia to me. "You said everything was fine, but I can plainly see that it's not." Sophia's mask cracked. "Ryan, he put a finger to his lips. "I have been listening, and I have been thinking. And I realized, the woman who has been around me for this week is not the woman I've grown to love. Sure, you may look like her, and you may even sound like her, but you are not her." Sophia was fuming. "You won't understand. I'd be far better than what she ever was." "No," came Ryan's answer, as firm as a rock. "You can't, because you're not her." I blinked. I felt like crying. As he shifted towards me, the real me, I felt hope. "I'm sorry I doubted you," he whispered. "I had known." Sophia, losing her cool, screamed, "Fine," while completely ignoring her audience. This was a setup. I was supposed to play her for a week and along the way completely forget about how much better her life is. She grunted through gritted teeth. "And I'm not giving it up." The room collectively widened their eyes, glossing over what Sophia had just spilled. The anger, the deception, and the motive to take my life permanently. The HR manager pressed the alarm for a guard who guided Sophia out of the building. She screeched and struggled, but it was too late. The information had been released. Everyone knew who Natalie truly was. After a few days of lockdown, I got my life back in order. My employer had accepted me back in full after accepting that Sophia had been passable as an employee. My family expressed regret for their disbelief in me and Ryan, and I started the painful journey of reconstructing our bond. Sophia stopped showing up after that. I heard some people talk that she relocated to some city, but I was not interested in knowing. Getting over the situation was not easy. The level of betrayal stings. My best friend, my confidant, attempted to erase my existence. But in time, weeks to be exact, I started accepting one crucial fact. My life, with all its blunders and foibles, was mine. It was not perfect, but as I have said numerous times, I would not trade it for anything. What Sophia did not comprehend was that taking someone else's happiness does not lift the void within you. What brings true satisfaction is accepting yourself as you are.